you've let me down. So I tried to erase it, but the ink bled right through. Almost drove myself crazy when these words led to you. And all these useless dreams of living alone, like a dogless bone. So come let me love you. Come let me love you. And then color me in. Well, I tried to control it and cover it up. I reached out to console it, but it was never enough. Never enough. So I tried to forget it. It's all part of the show. Told myself I'd regret it, but what do I know about all these useless dreams of living alone, like a dogless bone. So come let me love you. Come let me love you. And then color me in. So come let me love you. Come let me take this through the end of all these useless dreams of living, all these useless dreams, all these useless dreams of living, all these
Capoeira is a form of martial arts from Brazil, and it's infused with dance.
Tourniquet in the front
rise up afterwards. I saw you rise up out of your collared shirt. On the horizon there was another world. We left the phantom head and we ran for her. I close my eyes and we're alive, and it's a blinding light. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. But it's just a dream until you see it happening, and then it changes everything. Couldn't we make it just like we want it, just like we need it? Why can't we just like her? Who says we can't? Who says we can't? Who says we shouldn't? Who says we couldn't make it just like we love it? Why can't we just like her? Couldn't we make it? Couldn't we make it? Couldn't we make it just like we want it, just like we need it? Why can't we just like her? Who says we can't? Who says we can't? Who says we shouldn't? Who says we couldn't make it just like we love it? Why can't we just like a dream? Oh, 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 it's just a dream. Well, I don't know if I'm wrong, she's only just gone. Here's to another relationship born by my excellent breed of gamete disease. I'm sure when I'm older I'll know what that means. Well, she cried when she should and she laughed when she could. Here's to the man with his face in the mud and an overcast play, just taken away from the lovers in love at the center of stage. Yeah, loving is fine if you've plenty of time, yeah, for walking on stilts at the edge of your mind. I said loving is good if your dick's made of wood and the dick left inside only half understood. What makes her come? What makes her stay? What makes the animal run away? Yeah. What makes him stall? What makes him stand? And what shakes the elephant out? And what makes him mine? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah. Anymore. No, no, no. Ooh, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. You see, I don't know if I'm wrong. That's 'cause she's only just gone. Tell me, why is this day taking so long? I was a lover of time when once she was mine. I was a lover indeed. I was covered in weed, and she cried when she should. She laughed when she could. Closer to God is the one who's in love. I walk away 'cause I can. Too many options may just kill a man. Loving is fine if it's not in your mind. Yeah, but I'll find it out now. Just too many times I said loving is good if it's not understood. But I'm the professor and I feel that I should know just what makes her call, what makes her stay, what makes the animal run away. gone. Well, here's to another relationship bombed by my excellent breed of gamete disease. I finished it off with some French wine and cheese. La fille danse quand elle joue avec moi, et je pense que je l'aime des fois. Le silence n'ose pas, dis donc, quand on est ensemble, mettre les mots sur la fille danse quand elle joue avec moi, et la pluie me manque. Pourquoi? Non, non, c'est la chanson, la nuit, le vent, l'amour, le sang. D'un petit
God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of life. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship so loud, I can see your heart. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises so loud, so loud. God of your promise, don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 worship so loud. If the mountains bow in reverence so loud, if the oceans roar your greatness so loud, for if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. If the wind goes away, send it so alive. If the rocks cry out in silence, so alive. If the summer full of praises still fall shine, then we'll sing again 100 million times. God of salvation, I chased down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On the hill you created, the light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. Well, you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you so alive, I can see your heart and everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art, covered in love. If you gladly chose surrender so alive, I can see your heart in a billion different ways. Every precious one, the child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them so alive, like you would again 100 billion times, but one measure could amount to your desire. You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
We've wanted to be trusty and true, but feathers fell from our wings, and we've wanted to be worthy of you, but weather rained on our dream. and we can't take back what is done, what is past. So fellas, lay down your fears, 'cause we can't take back what is done, what is past. So let us start from here. We never wanted to be lusty or lewd, nor tethered to prudish strings. And we never wanted to be jealously tuned, nor withered into ugly things. And we can't take back what is done, what is past. So fellas, lay down your spears, 'cause we can't take back what is done, what is past. So let us start from here. If all that you are is not all you desire, then come. Well, come alone, come with fear, come with love, come however you are, just come alone, come with friends, come with foes, come however you are, just come alone, come with me, then let go, come however you are, just come alone, come so carefully close, come however
And your bright blue eyes, like a green traffic light up ahead. I'm coming, I swear. Just gotta comb my hair and push my way through the crushing weight on my chest. But I won't go back to all that trouble I've been through. I won't go drag you into the shadows I know too well. No, someday
movement games, this is like this unit and this unit, or this unit and this unit. These are the killer mobile combos.
Changing velocity. Wasp idling.
Cool. All right, guys, we got a game versus Midge488. It's a recall player.
Following you. Ready. Clearing.
Just chilling.
Brush. Optimizing.
Just chilling out here, seeing what they're up to.
Connected to allies. Never dull. Terrain condition. Connecting the Ghost's Blade. Wasp idling. Excel. Ready. One
Hello.
of many.
Send those guys a bit ahead.
Attacking.
Definitely don't want to be fighting out here. I think we might have got one.
Enemy is building a resource base.
Covering.
Resource base warmed up and working.
Insect correction.
Bad recall for him. A lot of those guys are going to go down.
Pure order.
Now these are really good fights for me.
Dicing. The Ghost's Blade. Accelerating. Clearing. Brush. Never dull.
The base dies very slowly.
Just a trim.
Units in combat.
Death. Ready.
Starting foundry.
Covering ground. Flanking.
Nice surround. Really nice surround there. Notice we didn't let him get back there for the workers to spawn or anything. Tries to recall out, but he's in huge trouble. We're going foundry now. He is stuck, and this looks like game over. You gotta be really careful with your early recalls to make sure you take the correct engagement.
Rushing. Mowing.
Otherwise, you just end up in this spiral.
Connected to allies. One.
Enemy tech is turning on. Be ready.
Trying to make air now. It's not gonna help him.
Clearing.
Too late.
Brush. Following you. Insect correction. Terrain condition. Soar. Never dull. The Ghost's Blade. Optimizing distance. Spin to win.
Units reporting damage.
Wasp idling. Can we hunt? Great. FX1 of
Got him. Noise! Just played 4 hours straight, thanks to the key. It's addictive, isn't it, Che?
Victory.
Did you well played, Arabic Dev? Oh, that was you! Well played, dude. Stinger damage is insane. I was a little slow on getting my stingers up, so I thought you were going to kill my guys as they popped out, but luckily the stingers managed to get away, and then stingers just kill everything so quickly. It's I actually do think that unit might be a little bit broken on its DPS. I could be wrong. I often am. Let's make sure we're watching out for our third. We're just going to go third base, guys.
Connected to allies. Define.
Resource base warmed up. Units under attack.
Oh, you want to fight, do you? Alright, we'll take it.
Never dull. Wait.
Ooh, accidentally, I just unmicroed them from a good position,
Enemy is
guys.
building a resource base.
That was a little bit derpy of me.
Flanking. Wasp
Are we gonna fight, guys?
terrain.
Guys, a bunch of my wasps are stuck.
Hovering. Optimizing.
What? That's the first time I've seen a bug like that.
Allies.
Oh, dude, this was a bad fight for me.
The Ghost's Blade.
I mean, we cleaned them up eventually. Hey, remember, they cost like 4 times as much as a wasp. Wasp is 25, guys. It's incredibly cheap.
Brush.
Still hurts.
You. Never dull. Cut. Ready.
Cut. That's what the wasp says.
Starting foundry.
Idling.
Oh, I'm going foundry. Whoops. Oh, man, I gotta remember to go Starforge every time.
Swarming. One of many. Accelerating. Insect correction. Pure. Connected to allies. Never dull. Clearing. Brush.
Lure them out
Blade.
and get them all.
Ready.
Maybe not the best trade.
Idling.
Finish off these guys at the back and then pull
Enemy
back.
tech is turning on. Be
Pull
ready.
back.
Changing velocity.
He's gonna be going tier 2 ground as well. Okay.
Connected to allies. Terrain.
You
never
sure?
Dull.
Alright. Oh, don't let him into the corner. Don't let him into the corner, guys.
Curving. Death.
More wasps, please. Just holding that wasp P down. As long as we maintain this around, his units will go down quickly.
Hovering.
Alright, quick, go across the map.
You.
And you guys also... Oh, he's just going to keep rallying in. All right. All right, this player's attacking into the meat grinder. I appreciate it. We're going to get some mortars out.
Units
I'll mix in just one or
combat.
two bombers just in
Units
case.
reporting damage.
Just clearing. Brush. Was ready. Connected. Ally.
Get in there. Get in there. Notice we're just trying to get surface areas. You always want to move behind the worker line
Blade.
so you guys get in as fast as possible.
Spin to win.
All right, we're going to pull back now to our splash damage. Lure them in. Hello.
Boy here. Check impression.
More basic boys.
Starting
We're going to get
Starforge.
Starforge.
Orders moving.
Insect. Correct. We are here. The trick. Hovering. Accelerating.
Units engaged. Units. Resource base. Units in combat. Units reporting damage. Units in.
We got him back to 2 base while going to 4 base, so they just knew they were dead.
Every win is earned. Bravo.
All right, guys, let's go. Chalupa, Batman, MacArthur. All right, let's go.
Resource base warmed up and
Oh, opponent's not expanding, guys. They're doing a 1 base all in. So you know what that means. We got to survive.
Defined edge.
Survive. Defender's advantage is just going to be 1 base wasp coming in to try and kill us.
Mark.
As long as we just stay back, keep our units up, should be fine.
Pure order. Action. Action. The ghost's blade. Covering one of many. Wasp.
I haven't actually played against this with wasps yet.
Ready. During never dull. Insect correction.
Trying to lure me out into the open.
Spinning. Hovering.
We're happy to just fight anywhere with limited surface area.
Ready.
You can see anywhere with limited surface area, I'm like, that's fine, that's fine. You can even kill some workers, that's also fine, because I'm going to have a whole base of workers coming up momentarily. And notice I'm spawning wasps into the fight, trap those guys as they try to escape, trap them as they try to escape.
Velocity.
Yeah, very nice. And that's going to be huge, because now
enemy
he's on
is
1
building
base.
a resource base.
He's going to expand. I can expand, or I could just tech up and go kill him with stingers, right? So I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll just tech up,
Starting Starforge.
saying I'm on 2 base, you're on 1. We kind of have this in the bag.
Wasp. Idling. Connecting.
And he's gonna come down here. That's an obvious bait, guys.
You never dull.
Just want to keep your army split.
Enemy tech is turning on.
And you want to try and chase them out because sometimes they're sitting out there waiting for another wave like that. Remember the same sort of two-pronged attack we've been doing.
Hovering. Optimizing. Wasp. Idling.
Yeah. All right, we can attack this base about 20 seconds.
Rushing.
They're trying to tech up, which means they will not have the numbers to deal with me. Oh, we trapped them on the edge.
Insect correction.
We're just gonna spend all of our money on wasps. We're just gonna go
Workers
for
getting
the.
flanked.
Storm.
Oh,
The
hello.
ghost's blade.
So they did hide some guys up there. We'll send a new squad across. Well done.
Wasp.
Units in combat.
Just gonna fight wasp versus wasp. That's
Units
fine.
reporting damage.
As long as we don't let him collapse my concave, this will be fine.
One of many.
Wasp versus wasp is fine.
Is ready.
And all I'm doing is building stingers now, guys. Looks like my concave did kind of collapse. Let's pull back. Wait for the stingers. Wait for the
Units
stingers now.
engaged.
Spin to
If we can do a
win.
little run by, that'll be great.
Connected to
Okay, launch. Stay in. Stinger in.
Stinger DPS. Let's go.
That's right. Okay. Back in.
I'm not sure if the stingers are good at move and shoot.
Butterfly.
Units under attack.
Yeah, the stingers kill the king crabs pretty well. GG's.
Vic.
If you ever wanted to get better at chess, you probably wondered, what is the best opening that I can use as a low-rated player that's gonna help me reach my goals in a relatively short period of time? Alright, from now on I want you to see openings as tools. Imagine, if you need to clean up the snow, you need a shovel. To silence your partner, you need a hammer. What I'm trying to get with this is that if you find yourself below 1500, that is, you need a shovel. To silence your partner, you need a hammer. What I'm trying to get with this is that if you find yourself below 1500, there is one opening that is gonna let you absolutely demolish every single one of your opponents. I swear, I have never seen something even remotely close to this. Give me 10 minutes of your time, and I promise you will never look back. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the Scotch Gambit. Enjoy. This is gonna open up with E4. If you're watching this video, probably yours favorite. And alright, opponent going for the most common move. Gonna start with the knight. And usually, I would be expecting you to face knight to c6 the most. Okay, simply defending the pawn. Now, this is pretty much the first big crossroads where you can do anything, more or less. Like, let's say, bishop to b5, Ruy Lopez, bishop c4 Italian, knight to c3 for knight. You can play king e2 Bone Cloud. Just kidding, please don't do that. Or you can go for something a little bit more aggressive, which is gonna be the topic of today's video. Okay, normally I would be expecting black to take with a pawn, and the most common move by like a large margin is to simply recapture. You probably guessed it right, the so-called Scotch game, but it's even better when you gambit it. What I'm trying to say is basically we're gonna be playing the Scotch Gambit. Bishop to c4. And alright, we get to face the check, which I think in terms of popularity, it's maybe like the third, maybe fourth most common move. I would generally be expecting them to play either knight f6, bishop to c5, or yeah, maybe even a little bit of d6, and then the check as well. So it's actually interesting that we get to face something like this. And okay, maybe you can try to already pause the video and try to think how would you deal with this. Because against the check, you have many options. Block with a bishop, block with a knight. Or my favorite, keep up the tempo. You don't want to lose the momentum. Alright? And a lot of the times they just take and they go back to c5. So curious whether we are gonna get something like that. I think taking with the knight is not terrible at all, but I'm just gonna keep it this way. I think a better move is bishop to a5 unless I'm missing something. But yeah, he plays bishop to e7. Okay. Your turn to pause the video again. If you didn't the first time, make sure to do it now, because it is time to get some action. Alright, white to play and win. Instantly, move 7. How crazy is this? That, you know, we effortlessly get this position, queen to d5. How is he gonna defend? There is just no way for him to defend it. It's so bad. Okay, I know you may be wondering, oh, cannot you just defend it with a knight and then get castled and black is okay? Well, think again. Because white has a very nice move to get rid of that. So there is this thing that's looming. And on knight to h6, you gotta open up your eyes and spot that there is bishop takes. And, you know, it's pretty much just killing opponent on the spot. He tries d6. Now, this already puts us in a mating situation. So we're gonna take with a queen, and then you have a choice. I mean, actually no choice. You just go for the simplest move, which is mate in one. You already know by this point probably that when you see mate in one, look for better. However, here we're gonna break the meta a little. And we play bishop to e6. Okay. Wow. How nice. How the heck did this even happen, you may be wondering. So, first of all, you want to remember how this begins. Yeah, just gonna go quickly through it. everything very forcing. And then he goes for the check. Now, I played the move c3 and then took with a pawn, just to kind of keep up the momentum. And yeah, I think he's supposed to play bishop to a5 in this position, and we just castle. And I think white is getting pretty nice compensation. One of the main reasons being that on knight f6 moves like e5 just looks very unpleasant for my opponent. He simply does not have a safe square for the knight. Just imagine he plays something like knight there, you go bishop out. He does not have many moves to block but knight e7, and then, you know, can pretty much at least play something like h3 and force him get this very awful pawn structure, you know, by going bishop takes. But anyways, you can do a lot of things to be better. So yeah, bishop a5 could be fine. However, his position is very difficult to play. Like, ideally, you just wanna, you know, kind of get castled. So these and knight e7, any knight move would be very tempting. However, even the knight e7 move can be losing on the spot after knight g5. And if they castle, okay, try to pause the video and find it yourself. Because white has a very common motive with queen h5. That just ends the game. No kind of play against that. Just creating a million threats. If he was to play bishop to c5, you may be tempted to think, oh, that is pretty simple. We are just doing the same thing. We play queen d5, right? Double attack, win a piece, no? Actually not, because he has queen e7. Defending both. Therefore, you want to improve your move order a little. And with a little, I mean a lot. By playing bishop takes on f7. Boom. A very typical trick for this variation. I mean, go to your local chess club and ask any 5-year-old. He will probably do this instantly. Because this is really a very common trick that you learn as you're just starting chess. Hopefully. At least. So, yeah, I mean, following position, just pick up the bishop, and white is going to be like slightly better just because the enemy king is, you know, kind of struggling to find peace. The king is now living with some very annoying neighbors, pretty much. You can think of it that way. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all that there was about this game. Notice how effortlessly you can checkmate somebody in 9 moves. That is 1000 in blitz. That is like the equivalent of 1400. So, I just find this thing to be pretty mind-blowing. And I've seen like a lot of things, alright? I've been in this game for a lot of years. So this is something definitely special. So with that being said, I think we can move on to the following game. Alright everybody, finally managed to find another white game. An opponent also plays e5. Meaning that we're gonna be attempting our new little weapon by playing d4 and not recapturing, because we're not trying to play the normal Scotch game, but instead we're in for the for a wild ride, you know. We're in for the Scotch Gambit instead. And so far we faced the move bishop to b4 check. We also faced knight f6 and we see knight to f6 again. And important that I recommend you castle here instead of the other somewhat interesting alternative, which is e5. So yeah, this is just my favorite move, and opponent now has a choice between taking and bishop to c5 usually. He can also play d6, which is more like, you know, sort of a slower approach, less theoretical. d6 is the kind of move that just gives white a nice little edge after knight e4. Nothing complicated, just free space advantage for white. But we get bishop to c5. And already the position becomes way more interesting compared to the previous move where you have the chance to play e5. Now when you're already castled, this is way stronger. Okay? So you want to remember that we start with e5. And okay, let's see. Because he can already go wrong in like a lot of ways. Like for instance, I think knight e4 is just losing immediately. He can just resign if he plays knight e4. Also the move d5 is, yeah, I think potentially still very dangerous for my opponent in these complications. I think white even can grab a small edge objectively. And knight to g4. Okay, on knight to g4, we have a bunch of moves. I'm just gonna go for this since I already know it's good. It's just a question of which is the best. So we're gonna play this just because I wanna show you a very nice little tactical sequence, which is very common for the variation, like incredibly common. You should always look for such things, whether it's like either a knight on g4 or a bishop sacrificing on f7 and then you bang him on g5. It's, you know, like opponent is walking on the beach and all of a sudden he gets hit in the head by a coconut. This is the kind of bishop takes on f7 move, and now he needs to kind of chill down for a little, sit down and sort of recover from the impact. Because okay, he cannot castle, okay, that's not a thing. When the king moves, he can never castle pretty much. He's just gonna have a decisive impact on his game, just like my videos do on your chess. Anyways, make sure not to lose the queen, and you should be good to go. I think for that little idea, we're gonna block. A lot of people would have probably moved the queen, but yeah, just remember that blocking is also an option. Plus, you may have knight f7 in some positions. I mean, imagine you get something like this. That would be a hilarious checkmate. And okay, I mean, you want to be careful with going super deep with knight f7, but honestly, on like how good the position looks, that may be a thing. But actually, if you pay attention to this move, it changes the position dramatically, and in our favor too. So please feel free to pause the video and try to find the winning blow, because this is creating a huge weakness. And compared to like the previous position, queen h5 was not such a big problem because he has defensive move g6 and the queen has to just go back and there is no like way to immediately take advantage of this. However, notice that with h6 he is pretty much shooting himself in the foot, because after the check he can no longer play g6, the pawn does no longer support this push. And no matter like where he goes with the king, he's gonna be getting brutalized. Like this. You already know that we are about to get some action once queen to h5 is getting played. So get a checkmate, finish the game. And okay, I'm just curious, I want to like very quickly check with the chess.com engine. Quick pause before we continue. I just wanted to let you know that I made the Lichess study, which is completely free. You don't even need to have an account. in order to use it, and the study pretty much contains all the traps and theory that has been used during this video. In case you're interested, I'll show you how to access this at the end of the video. Now, back to the analysis. Because, yeah, I knew this is fine. Yeah, apparently C3 is best. And I think the line goes takes. We take, I'm just curious if I can recall my analysis. So I know I checked the position like this. This is just better because h3, knight h6 we take. It's close to like a +2 according to my analysis, if I'm like recalling this correctly. So I knew c3 is objectively a little bit better in that position. But hey, I mean, maybe in the future, if we get this against higher rated players, we're gonna go c3. But for now, I think it is vital, you know, for your starter kit in the Scotch Gambit, that you are always looking for such things. Bishop takes, get a check, win back the piece, and opponent lost the right to castle. You can pretty much just exploit him with the key idea that whenever he is losing the right to castle, you want to be keeping the queens on the board, okay? It's very important that you have a good feel for the position. Because you're not having like sort of a long-term advantage here. Let's say going into the end game or stuff like that. Really, our edge is in dynamic play, in king safety. So keep queens on the board. Very important to play on your strong aspects. Like, you get rid of the queens, you know, it's just like a bodybuilder that, you know, aged and lost all the muscles. That is what it feels like if opponent manages to trade, because then his king is going to be safe. Before we continue, I just wanted to clarify that a bit earlier I mentioned knight e4 is just leading to a completely winning position for white. So the point is, the knight, even though it just looks to be kind of very active for the time being, placed in the middle of the board, it is in fact really vulnerable. And you can exploit it with a move such as queen to e2. Okay, you're playing queen to e2. And the main point is that the knight simply is lacking support. What do you mean? It's lacking support. He can just play d5 and defend, no? Well, yes. But you have a little bit of a premium move now, because you can play en passant. Take on d6, right? And then kind of like no matter what he plays, he's gonna be in a bad position. He's pinned, moves such as knight b to d2 are being flattened, and in case he plays f5, keeping the knight, perhaps you're not gonna be winning the piece, but you're still doing way better, because the king is never gonna be able to castle, as the bishop is controlling this square. So king is trapped in the middle, you're gonna be winning a pawn, you're opening him up, we're pretty much operating him on open body, and white is just crashing. So yeah, with that in mind, I think we can just move on to the following game. Alright everybody, managed to get a game. Let's open up with e4, and alright, opponent playing kind of what we want to see, and defends the pawn with the knight. Gonna go d4. You already know it by now. Just heading towards the Scotch Gambit. To be honest, I'm gonna be revealing a small secret. Maybe in the future on the channel, we're gonna be seeing a move like bishop to b5, which I'm pretty sure none of you have ever seen. It is very rare, but kind of interesting gambit. So maybe we're gonna get to see that. You let me know in the comments. For now, just gonna stick with our main guns, which is a very underrated opening. Okay, for those of you that are not aware, this is still played quite frequently at the highest levels, so definitely not a bad thing. And okay, opponent just playing h6. It just turns out that the h6 move, it is so common for this rating range, and this is actually very good for us because it is a mistake. h6, it's pretty much defending against something that was not a threat, while there are other things that opponent could have focused on being in the opening phase, you know, such as developing pieces. Therefore, moves such as knight f6 or bishop c5 were required. If you still don't get it, a move like h6 is pretty much opponent is over-obsessing to have clean shoes while he's getting ready to take a picture for his passport. You get what I'm going with this. So, how do we punish? You really want to remember the c3 move. Okay, c3. Honestly, you can even do it now. I'm just gonna wait a little and I'm gonna play castle. But the main idea to keep in mind is c3. I want to wait for that bishop to land on c5, which is gonna make our c3 move work even better. In case of knight f6, I think e5 just looks terrifying for my opponent. But we do get to see bishop to c5, so I'm gonna play c3. And generally you're gonna be seeing they just capture because we are just having a huge positional threat of playing a move such as cd4, getting a very strong pawn center. Alright, this is a very important position, so please feel free to pause the video and try to find the best continuation on your own. If you're thinking queen d5 is the best move, I'm gonna reward you the imaginary wooden spoon, just because I don't actually have the wooden spoon nearby. So that is not the best move because opponent simply defends both with queen to e7. However, there's a better move. Bishop captures. You do bishop captures and then you get to check, and this way you're just making sure you know, the bishop will not run away. Do that. He's gonna move the king somewhere. We're gonna recapture the piece, and don't think about it as alright, we did all this kind of fancy schmancy stuff and now we're just winning material. It is not really like that. The material is still even, but you're winning something that, you know, could be even a little bit more meaningful, such as king safety. Alright, opponent's king is pretty much just ruined for the rest of the game. If you look at it, the king looks just fine, but deep inside, the king is very sad. Okay? It is, you know, you always wonder, you know, what is the king doing? Not how is the king feeling. But jokes aside, this position wouldn't be that terrible if he could castle. But because he already moved the king, it is not going to be able to. So he's just stuck in the middle forever. Okay, now. Huh? Opponent just resigned? What? I mean, there was queen takes on g7 incoming, but that is like not enough of a reason to resign within this rating range. I don't get it. Okay. I guess we just play this opening and then they resign in 10 moves. Well, I was still like gonna talk you through maybe how is this position and whether there's any counterplay to be worried about. Funny thing, bishop h3 is not a move because you can just take it with a queen. So if you were thinking this is somewhat scary, just take the bishop. So we could have done that, extra 2 pawns, and probably opponent was just kind of pissed with the way this game was going, and he was like, screw this, I'm out. So okay, there's the very simple small demonstration of this, and with that being said, I think we can move on to the following games where you're actually gonna get to see even more typical mistakes that people make within this rating range. Alright everybody, managed to find another white game facing an opponent that is borderline 1000. He is very close. Gonna begin with a knight and then setting up our beloved Scotch Gambit by now. Gonna get a bishop, and let's see which line is he gonna choose. Okay, we get the more main line kind of thing. That is interesting. Alright, how are we gonna do this? So there's definitely like the forcing continuation with knight to g5 and knight h6, knight f7, which you can play. We can also just do castle, knight f6, and then e5 type of stuff, and try to pretty much just transpose. So let's do the castles this time, and then knight f6 we play e5. I think d5 could potentially be quite problematic for my opponent. After ef, dc, fg7, rook e1, I think white is gonna be slightly better in those variations. And okay, knight to g4. I'm just trying to recall what the theory is here, because there's like a very tempting move that you can definitely play. However, I know for a fact c3 is also good. And then dc3, you play bishop takes on f7. And you just go for a somewhat better endgame. So I know you guys would probably love to see this check happening. And I already played it once. So let's do c3 this time. And dc3, bishop f7. Knight e5 I think is losing by force, just after a simple sequence. We were to trade and then pin, obviously, followed by cd and win the piece. I'll show you that after the game if anything is unclear. And on dc3, yeah, the point is we don't want to just recapture, but you want to do bishop takes. So forcing him to take, and then we got queen d5, and then we pick up the bishop. And in this whole time, the king is gonna be like pretty misplaced. So, all right, let's see. King to e8. Just gonna pick up the bishop. Threatening this move in case of takes. Just gonna take. Cannot really do much besides that. And by the way, king to e8. It's not the best move. Like he's supposed to play, I believe, king to f8. And after takes, queen e7, and we are supposed to trade. And white is better in those endgames because there's going to be h3 incoming, and he doesn't have a better move than knight h6, which allows bishop captures, and then he gets this kind of like ugly double pawns. But after king 8, and dude, he's playing d6. He's just doing something super anti-positional, anti-strategical, anti-how to find a girlfriend. It is anti-anything, because he's got king in the middle, and he's opening up the position. It is the opposite. Okay, you got king in the middle, you should try to keep the position closed. Somebody call this man and tell him the news, all right? I think he probably got it the other way around. Okay, fine. We have this position. Now, a lot of tempting moves. Which one do you consider first? Taking his queen, right? Of course not. You want to look for checks. So rook e1, I think it's really something to be prioritized. I also quickly glance over queen h5 thinking, oh, maybe we can win knight. But then you realize the knight is defended, so that's also not very interesting. And then you can think of this type of moves. But to be honest, it just feels like, you know, throwing in these check. There's no way something like this is gonna hurt. And maybe he may even blunder. So please feel free. Otherwise, it would be weird if you don't feel free. Unless you're watching me from the prison, nothing wrong with that. You go ahead, try to pause the video and find the winning move for white, because this is a huge mistake, I think. Because it just allows a very simple concept. Notice that, okay, queen covers bishop. In order to enter, you want to get rid of the queen, so you can take that bishop. It's like you're pretty much trying to break into a house. You just gotta distract the dog first, and then you got an easy way in. Alright? Life-changing life lessons, I know. We're gonna pick up that bishop, and then we just retreat like a coward. But we are a coward with an extra piece, so always better to be coward with extra piece than coward with equal material. or even worse. So, yeah, just nothing really all that special. Opponent disconnected, which means maybe he just hates life. Hopefully he is okay, but I'm telling you, as a spoiler alert, this may be the feeling that some of your opponents will get once you try out this sort of stuff, okay? Like d4, ed, bishop to c4. That is something very hard, okay? Very difficult to handle. So, yeah, doesn't seem that he's gonna be back. Just for those of you that are kind of, I don't know, kind of unexperienced, and maybe this is still unclear, we would have taken the bishop. He would have had to move the king, and I would have just gone back, like somewhere, okay? Don't ask me where, somewhere. If he takes, we just take. If he pushes, that's no problem. We easily take that pawn. You know, that's not doing anything. It's just a lonely pawn. So there was something very early on that I wanted to mention. So where was it? Yeah. So it was, first of all, it was here. This is how he's supposed to play, and I looked up this position. No matter how he takes, this is great for white with h3 incoming, and he just has issues. You can also check it with a computer if you don't believe me. There you have it. And definitely nothing wrong though with bishop takes on f7. If you're playing it this way, I think in a practical game, you're gonna do well. I feel like black's position is pretty difficult to handle anyways. It's just that computer is not a huge fan of this, in a way that with best play, black can equalize, but in practical play, they won't equalize. So take it as it is, do your own choices. I already showed you both. Or if you watch this game first, I will show you the other one too. Anyways, play bishop to c4. And yeah, here I wanted to mention that, okay, he cannot do anything like knight e5, just because of a very simple continuation. We trade knights, very forcing, very easy to calculate. And then you play a move like rook e1, okay, pinning the knight, threatening to win it with check, which makes black's responses very limited. He has to do something defending the knight. Now, no matter how he defends the knight, he's still gonna be pinned. So if he plays queen e7, now he's double pinned. And no matter how he defends the knight, then you got pawn takes on d4. How is this not winning? Did I just fall for the oldest trick in the book? You guys try to pause the video and let me know why this is not winning. So, I haven't seen the solution. Alright? I just saw the eval bar kind of going to 0. And this gives me a pretty good indicator of what I have just missed. So you try to find it, black to play and save it. Because I think you can go bishop takes on d4. And if you play queen takes, you're gonna cry. There's gonna be knight f3. Forking the whole family. Nephews included. And then this is coming. Oh my, that would be That'd be kind of ruining my day. So instead, obviously, what is the obviously better move? F4 would be the other way to punish this, but maybe he gets discovery. Yeah, F4, one of the moves. But apparently it's even better to start B4 and then CD. And once this thing happens, apparently it is just an important difference that B4 is on the board. I don't know. This is pretty insane computery stuff. But yeah, you get that position. First of all, there's no way your opponent finds something like this. And second of all, yeah, do F4 and kind of like no matter what he does, you're going to be winning this piece. You play with an extra piece, okay? I'm telling you, nobody will sack the queen, alright? If they do, they're a moron and you'll win. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it about this game. And let's move on to the following one. Alright, can we get more Scotch Gambit, please? Let's see. Okay, opponent kind of cooperating. We see the knight out and gonna play the move d4. Now, what is important, not to recapture, but develop the bishop. So immediately, potentially opening up the door to like a lot of juicy tactics. Opponent already giving me a pretty weird vibe with this h6 move. I mean weird in a good way for us, because h6 it is clearly a move that is inferior. In this position, he is generally supposed to choose between knight f6 and bishop to c5. He can play bishop to b4 check or d6 as well, but h6 it is a bad move because first of all, it's not like knight g5 was a huge threat. Like he generally just has knight e5 among other things to defend f7. So h6, we're just gonna castle, and on the next move, you know, depending whether he plays knight f6, we could be going e5, or if it's something else, we could be considering a move like c3. Especially on bishop to c5. Okay? We play the move c3. Now, is he gonna take? Alright, of course he takes. And, alright. Now, I'm just wondering, guys. Okay, I want to get a little bit closer to you. And I feel like it's appropriate to ask this question. Have you ever felt like, you know, you're like casually walking around your local park and you all of a sudden get hit in the head with a baseball bat? Because out of nowhere, we're gonna be sacrificing the bishop. And it is very important that you play this move. And then you do queen d5. Regaining the piece. This is by far the most important tactic that you want to remember if you want to pick up this opening, the Scotch Gambit. And it is important, by the way, that you do this instead of the somewhat tempting queen d5. Because that is not going to achieve much after queen e7. Black is able to defend both and, well, you're on your own from there. King to e8, so we just have to recapture the piece. And, yeah. Probably just winning back. He's hitting the queen. On cb2, we're happy to take with the bishop and develop. On d6, queen is hit. We have idea also to be annoying. Should we just be very annoying and check? There's like simple move queen c2, which is fine. Do we want to play that queen c3, knight f6? I can go check. Create some anxiety for this king and then go knight takes. Okay, I'm just gonna be a simple guy. I don't want to be ultra fancy, ultra sophisticated. And what is like super important to understand about these positions is that a lot of people would still be considering moves like, okay, he just played knight f6, he's ready to castle. Well, it is very important that he just moved his king a few moves ago. Meaning, he's never able to castle again. So this just gives you a lot of, you know, power to move around. So, first of all, we need to talk about what is the main idea in general to exploit a king that is trapped in the middle. So pretty much what you need to understand is if the position opens up, that is to your advantage. Because he's stuck there, he cannot run anywhere, and then your pieces will have a very easy way to start attacking. Now, a move like that is e5. And I'm just kind of glancing over these complications after taking, and then he has queen e7. Blocking the check, and then the position is not entirely clear. So, for that reason, we can, let's say, play something different, like bishop f4. And then we know that knight takes on e4 is a poison pawn, because that allows queen takes on g7. So, I like bishop f4, just because it's preparing this kind of e5 idea. Also, rook e1 not to be neglected. In fact, I'm just gonna do rook e1 here, because it just makes the threat of e5 incredibly powerful. Now, remember I asked you if you ever got hit in the head by a baseball bat. Imagine how much worse it gets when there's like a full gang of people hitting you in the head with a baseball bat. Like multiple bats. This is what it feels like when we get in e5. And he lost the right to castle. This means he cannot run anywhere. He's completely trapped, caught in the middle of the board. We're just about to pick up the bishop on e6. So, I think we managed to combine a lot of very important fundamental ideas. But more important, I think these are very common. These are of great practical use. Alright? Just forces resignation. I mean, literally winning against somebody that's rated 1000, which is kind of like the equivalent of 1400 in Rapid, in like 40 moves. I mean, how crazy is that? Just by, well, getting to this position, and then what do you need to know? You just have this very little tactic, c3, and then bishop takes on f7. A very nice combo that if I wake you up in the middle of the night at 3 AM, you should be able to immediately say, okay, I play bishop takes on f7, he takes, I play queen to d5 with your eyes closed. And hopefully your girlfriend is not gonna think that you're already insane. So, you're insane at chess, but not at other things. So we just take, and then I'm telling you, open up the position, and just by applying very simple concepts, you're setting up yourself for winning countless games with this opening. So with that being said, I think we can move on to the following game. Alright, everybody, getting a white game. Gonna open up with e4, and let's see, are we gonna get some e5? Because we're about to try out something pretty interesting at least. It's gonna go knight f3, targeting the pawn. Okay, we see the knight move. You wanna play d4. I think this is the most precise move for that by far. And normally I'm expecting pawn takes, okay? Some people may take with a knight, which is whatever. You can just trade knights, take with a queen. You'll have a better game. Just easy play. But after pawn takes, alright, here is where the interesting surprise comes. Because knight takes on d4 is known to be the main move, just leading to the very thematic Scotch game. However, we're gonna be starting out with the Scotch gambit. So bishop to c4. And then it depends on what our opponent is gonna play. He has bishop to c5 or knight to f6 as the two main moves in the position. So on knight to f6, I recommend we castle. And then it's gonna be some interesting stuff, so make sure to stick to that part. But on bishop to c5, this is a very interesting position because it gives white a very powerful and surprising try very early on in the game. And it is incredible how much fear you can save by simply playing this line. And the main reason why it is so effective, and I'm talking about knight g5, is that according to the statistics, like 1% of your opponents will know the best way to deal with it in order to equalize. If not, are just better without having to do much. So it starts knight g5, okay? And knight h6 is the only move that's playable. But knight e5 also looks, kind of fine defending the square. But one of them is losing and the other one is not. That is the small difference to say. And we have the knight. Okay, already here, we have a very important move because if you mess up the timing, you're not going to be getting such an amazing position. So you really want to remember this, okay? In a lot of these lines, the bishop is a huge target. So the way to exploit it is that we start with knight takes on f7. So we engage into this kind of weird looking early attack because we have a trick here. When we go bishop takes, it's going to take us. Other moves don't really make sense. And now we are currently down a piece, but we have this very strong move. Okay, and it is very important that you don't mess around with throwing useless checks. Like in some similar positions, that may not hurt, but it's also not like a winning defense or anything, even if it's playable. So I would just say whenever you get this, just make sure you cash in the bishop. No need to be messing around. And black has a trick. They can play queen e7, queen f6, rook e8, rook f8, d6. d6 I think is the most common move, and we get to face it. The interesting part about this position is in order to equalize, they need to play d5. Guess who plays that? Nobody. This is what makes the variation interesting. So okay, After d6, yeah, I think we have many ways of playing this position. There's queen to c4 and queen to e2 as a line. There's queen to b5 as a move as well. Yeah, which one are we gonna go for? I think I'm just gonna go queen to c4 and then queen to e2. It's probably blocking with the bishop. But then you're gonna notice that well, all of his dark squares here are gonna be kind of vulnerable, and we have this bishop on the board, which he's lacking. So we're gonna get castle. In some positions, it could be interesting to play a move like h4, but I don't think here we have enough time because this is kind of like a concrete thing that we usually want to get rid of. And on the next move, we can, I think, complete development. Knight to d2. He plays queen to f6. Very natural move. c3 is also part of the plan in a lot of these structures, but I think we start knight d2. And usually, we're going to end up doing something like f4. If you can get like a great timing with e5 and even knight e4 hitting the queen, that is going to be giving white a very nice advantage. And he already makes a very kind of questionable move. I don't get why would you play king f8, but not king g7, just kind of hiding the king. You don't want to have these two pieces lined up. Like, just imagine a scenario where I push, we take, I'm already winning. So he plays d5 instead. Now, against such move, there is e5. There's also f5. Very interesting choice. I think we'll start with e5 just because it feels to be the most natural move. But potentially f5 could have been a very juicy move that we could have spent a little bit more time investigating. But already, you know, just by winning this pawn, white is going to be borderline winning. So even though, yes, it would be amazing to get some kind of like a quicker attack, if you will. But yeah, the positional way works out just fine. So I think we do this move. Also preparing some queen to h4. Also this and f5. Maybe really crashing. I'm curious if he's going to do queen e4 because that may be vulnerable to knight to g5. Plays knight d4, but he just forgets about d4 with tempo. Very, you know, important little detail, and then he just has a complete meltdown. Giving up full queen. I mean, he had like a, let's say, reasonable position until he didn't. So he's going to f5, simply clearing the line for the bishop. Gonna take the rook next. Gonna win his bishop as well. Using multiple pins, though, that are hopefully gonna take us to victory. Gonna check, gonna pick up the rook. I think at this point, maybe even stronger to go for the mate. Like queen to f4, rook to e7. I could have taken a check as well, but this should be just fine. King h6 with mate. This will also mate. So, managed to get this game, but I'm actually curious about one thing. So we went ahead with takes. Yeah, he played actually interesting. I think his moves were pretty much just fine up to this point. Like, I think we followed mainline theory. But white is ready to play f4 and then knight f3. And this just looks to be a way trickier position to play as black, just because the king just feels pretty vulnerable in general. Not really much to add. We just play the few moves of theory. Like, one of the really nice things about playing this variation is that you really know what you're paying for, okay? You're going knight g5. You know, he has one way to play. Otherwise, he's losing. So he's like really forced to go knight e6 and allow all of these because knight e5 is not doing anything but allowing an inferior version. So this is even worse for black because they're literally losing the d4 pawn immediately. So this is already pretty much lost for black according to the computer. And because, yeah, they're just going to be down the pawn there. I mean, actually, down the pawn? Am I like miscalculating? Yeah, they are going to be down the pawn. Sorry, I just got confused there for a bit. I was just saying this because their king is also constantly weak because of these dark squares, and we have the dark square bishop on the board. So then, you know, you enter this, you're going to have this position, and you also know that they're not going to play the best equalizing move, which is d5. They're going to do something different that is going to give white a stable edge in the long run. So now, because you were a good boy and watched till the end, here is how you want to access the Lichess study. So pretty much you're just having the normal video, and you just need to scroll a little until you see here, right under the sub count, that you're gonna have the first link. So this is gonna be the Lichess link. Promise, I'm not gonna be hacking your computer, or at least not this time. And yeah, just click on it, and voila, you're gonna be landing